Alright, hello everybody. Sorry it's been so long since my last Silverlight tutorial. It's been very busy at work. Guess you can't complain in this economy, right? But anyway, I apologize, and hopefully we can get this show on the road. Today I'm going to do stack panels, so hopefully that'll be exciting. Let's see here. I'm redoing my little Mac here, so I know it's kind of weird doing Mac on a Windows on a Mac, but I prefer Mac for most normal things, and I like to program on PC. So, kind of get the best of both worlds. So last time we went over a lot of the basics, obviously, so I'm not going to go over that stuff. We went over the whole situation with the projects and how you have to publish everything or build everything the first time to get rid of this little warning here and all that good stuff. So I'm going to kind of skip the introductions of redoing everything from scratch. And I've got my little stack panel here that I was just testing, and I'm going to get rid of it right now. So we can start from scratch. Alright, so here's our familiar grid layout. And right here's your stack panel. You can drag that over onto your toolbar. Now, this just looks like a regular rectangle as far as anybody's concerned. You'll notice here that you have a horizontal alignment, the normal margins, the name. Give it some kind of good name. Let's see, Greg Stacker. Okay, I'll call it Greg Stacker, vertical alignment. And the current width of the stack panel, or slash, as far as we know right now, a box. You can do the normal drag and kind of make it bigger and smaller depending on what your needs are. Now where the fun comes in is if you grab something like a button, let's say, and you drag it onto there, and let's say we want a second button, and let's drag it onto there, and boom. If you notice, there was a little black line that came across there, and they're perfectly aligned with each other. This is the purpose of the stack panel, so that you don't have to try to go like this and go, oh, like you normally do with something like Dreamweaver or any, other tools. It just, if you notice, you can put it over here all you want. It's going to put it right back where it was. So it's a really nice tool to make sure things are aligned if you're not going to be using a grid. Grid I will kind of introduce in other tutorials, but this was a good starting point. But the grid actually also lets you slice up sections and to columns and rows, but give you the basic. It gives you more power than this, because this really doesn't allow you to like have a second row over here. As you can see, as soon as I try to bring it underneath or anything, it's just gonna throw it right back up there. So, with that said, one thing that's very good to note here is if you happen to be doing, well, like I've told you in the past, where you can do something like this and start coding here. Let's see, content equals new, cool button, okay, and then you give it a name of my awesomeness. Okay, like that. Oops, I forgot that I've been coding in regular C# for a while now, so in my job, so I'm not used to the opening and closing of tags, because it doesn't tend to do that. And let's say anyway that I close this. You'll notice that my new cool button actually sized itself to the actual width of the stack panel, because I did not give it a width. That's something that's very nice. If you need some kind of thing to be an exact width of a certain area, you can do that with any different. It doesn't have to just be a button. You'll notice no matter how big I make this, it's going to conform to the standards of that width. So it will take the width of the stack panel. The other thing you'll notice is that it is centering itself with the other buttons with the utmost longest button, or item. Doesn't even have to be a button. If I put a text box in here, it would do the same thing. But the important part here is that everything is centered based on this long one. So you're not like these two aren't being centered or aligned, more not centered. Aligned is the better word with the three buttons based on these two side. Button. Actually, you know what? Let me give this really quickly and just give this a name. So when I'm pointing to something, it actually almost makes sense. Button 1 and button 2. Okay, so we are not actually getting the alignment based on button 1 or button 2, but getting it from new cool button. And you'll notice again, same kind of thing as you shrink or get bigger. Does the exact same thing. It's still aligning itself based on the center of this new cool button. So that's actually a really nice feature. One thing that is kind of neat that you kind of thought that, or I thought when I first learned Stack Panel, that you would be learning this stuff or doing, if you wanted something to be not this way but this way, that would be within your alignments, but it's actually in a property called orientation. So by default, if you were to do vertical, you'll notice the orientation is normally vertical by default. If you were to, I'm going to be lazy here because I'm that kind of guy. If you were to do horizontal, now you notice they're kind of screwed up, but the buttons are horizontal now as opposed to vertical. And we can make this smaller now. And you notice now it's going to stay there because down here our awesome IntelliSense figured out what we were doing and added it down to the bottom here. So you'll notice with any of the tutorials I'll give, whether it be C# or Silverlight, you're going to fall in love with Visual Studio like I have, because Visual Studio really has taken it up a notch as far as IntelliSense and design view. I mean, it's a far cry from, I don't know if any of you guys remember, or even if it's still around, Front Page. Front Page was just a mess as far as any of this kind of stuff goes. So, and even the original Visual Studios was nothing compared to what you can do with it now. So that's the main thing I wanted to show. I just wanted to show what the Stack Panel was, what it gives you, and what kind of stuff you can get from this. And the neat thing about having it inside the Stack Panel also is you can grab this guy up here and just move it wherever you want. It'll move everything else within it. So what's really nice here is to do something like this. Like if let's say we wanted to delete this guy right here, and then we go over here, and we get our text box, and we put it over there. Okay, and then whoops, that's not what I wanted. And then instead of horizontal, we do vertical. Right. Okay, now you have your text box, you have a new cool button, and we could even just get rid of this button. But now you have a really quick and easy text box and then button to click something, or actually really in this case, quite honestly, the horizontal would have probably been better for that. So you've got your your text box, and we can actually even throw in a label here. Okay. There you go. Label came in here. Make it a little bigger. Cool by name. Oops. I'm sorry. That's my bad. That was the name. So I'm going to have to change that. So let's just do label. And we will throw that right in there. And there you go. So now you got your own little really quick and easy put together form of some sort, of like a really quick search maybe or something like that. I have many sites where we do a directory where you just put the label, put their name in there, then this becomes an auto-complete box, which I'll be doing in other tutorials because that's actually a little more complex than you would think. And then the button to search for the name, and then you have something below that gives you information about what you searched. So anyway, so that's about it for this tutorial. I didn't want to make it too long. I think I probably got a little winded, but I just want to get everything back back in gear and get things going, and hopefully we can see more tutorials come. Alright, thank you very much. Have a good night.